Hi, I'm Peter Holland, and this is the Scottish Rum Festival. We are joined today by Jamie at Jacobite Spirits. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, man. Nobody wants to hear me talk, so tell us all about it, man. Tell us about yourself, about your history, all the rum, all the dirty secrets. Go on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is everybody will get this fairly soon. Is the important thing to me is tell me when to stop talking. I'm not the one, not the one. That's why I always get put forward to doing these things, because I can talk. So I'll go back to the beginning, and the reason I'm starting with that prefix is let me know if you want me to stop condense it. Because I'll go right back.
Yeah, like
yeah, give me one of those. Yeah, give me one of those. So yeah, Jacobite Spirits started. Actually, there's a preamble to the start, and that's why I want to give you the full story. There's 8 great friends. You know, we say we're a company of friends in every sense, and we really are. And for the last however many years, I probably would say 15, 20 years, we've all known each other, we've played sport together, we've traveled together. I think that's the important part of this, the journey aspect of it. So once a year, we have been very lucky to have gone on a trip. A guy's trip where we're it's not necessarily what you might think straight away. It's not necessarily the stag do kind of a affair. It's a bit more food and history and culture. There's a little bit of that. Well, obviously there's a bit of drinking involved. So what we do is over the last however many years, we've done different cities. We did Europe, and we got a little bit more ambitious. I don't know how we got away with this with our other halves, but in 2015, I think, 16, we started going into the US. So we did New Orleans and then Miami. And the reason I'm telling you that is New Orleans is probably where we discovered rum. And it's different for us. We're Scotsmen. Majority of them are Scotsmen. We've got Scots, Irish, and English in the 8. And rum is a big part of a visit to New Orleans. I'm sure if anybody's been there, they'll know that experience. And that was a bit of an awakening for us. We like to call ourselves enthusiastic agnostics when it comes to drinking. And we really are. And, you know, we've kind of been everywhere. And when we go to different places, trying what's happening there is part of it. So rum was big in New Orleans, but rum was also big in Miami. And so there was 2 kind of trips I think it was split by Budapest, but there was 2 trips with rum involved. And so that gave us a bit of a flavor for rum, right? Let's go to starting the company. Myself and Tony, who's the head distiller and head everything pretty much in the company, we worked together in our day jobs, and we were looking at developing, you know, another company in a completely different direction. We went to a supplier event in Glasgow, and we came back and we were sitting opposite each other at desks, and he was like, "Did you notice anything at that exhibition?" I was like, "Yeah," and we were both thinking the same thing, and it was like, should we maybe not do what we were going to do and maybe consider booze, because we like booze, right? And we were like, okay. And that was really it. And rum, like I say, rum was in our mind, and we were, you know, we didn't want to go down the whiskey route, and we were pretty much done with gin, and we knew that was how we were feeling, and rum was just like in our heads. And so we said to the guys, you know, in our group, we were like, we're thinking about making rum. Are you guys up for it? You know, we'd stopped playing football together. We did these trips. So this is January 2019. So January 2019, we start putting in place the administration to making rum. We start learning about rum, we start drinking more rum, which was a great part of that journey. And we got the 2 sheds. So like a lot of businesses, we started with 2 sheds because that's what we needed for the license in Ronnie's back garden. And we just learned that whole year. We did a lot of learning, we did a lot of reading, we did a lot of watching stuff. We went to rum festivals. And we were enthusiastic about that process. And so over that summer, I know this is funny, I can remember standing in the garden in summer, inverted commas, Scottish summer, with my massive coat on, with like a jumper on, and I'm standing outside stirring the wash because we accidentally made it too hot, and we were trying to bring the temperature down before we put the yeast in. And it took about 4 hours to bring the temperature. It was freezing outside, and we were like, okay, I kind of see now why rum is not necessarily what you think about in Scotland. We were doing it all wrong. So anyway, that first year, experimented with a lot of flavors, botanicals. Like I said before, we're quite foodie. We're like, you can maybe guess that by looking at me. We're enthusiastic foodies as well. So food and flavors and botanicals, that was a kind of a good fit for us. We experimented with quite a lot. Fast forward to December 2019, we produced our first bottle of the 45. Which was, we say it's a spiced rum designed for us. That was literally what we did. We put flavors in that stood out when we were developing our spice profile. It kind of had a feel about, what we were doing. Jacobite spirits, we like to say, the spirit of rebellion. We're trying to do something different. We want a strong reaction. We want people to like, whether they like it or don't like it, they want them to go, wow, I'm drinking, Jacobite spirits here. And so that kind of evolved. We thought sell to friends, family, and connected, but it went further than that. And I think, as you said, Peter, the rum scene in Scotland was really getting, good in 2019. We'd found ourselves not alone very quickly, and that took us by surprise. We were researching rums, we were looking much further afield, and then lo and behold, Scotland was producing rums. So that helped a lot. We had a lot of help from the Scotch whisky industry, really a lot of help in there. Great people, a real collegiate atmosphere. They passed on so much learning because we weren't professional distillers. We're borderline professional drinkers, but not professional distillers. So got a lot of help from them, produced the 45, sold quite a lot, sold more than we expected. And then had a conversation late 2019, early 20 to say, we're going to do this. So we're going to grow this brand. And so that's what we did. And obviously everybody knows that, very quickly in 2020, the year took a bit of a funny turn. We got into our distillery, which is in Glasgow, just pretty much before the lockdown came in. So we were expanding into that space as lockdown came in. And over the course of 2020, we did what we could to work with that lockdown and bring our brands to life. And in 2020, we launched a special edition for us, as it was, Charlie's Chopper Raspberry Crannican, over my shoulder here. It was so popular that we kept producing it. It wasn't a special edition, so it went. And then we just a few months ago launched a second Charlie's Chopper iteration, Charlie's Chopper Clean Cut, and that is our third rum. So we have 3 spiced rums, all spiced rums. The Clean Cut that we're going to talk about in a moment or two is completely clear. Again, it's got that punchy profile that we're trying to get from our spirits, and it's a cool bottle. The bottle is, as you'll be able to see in a moment, is a highly sustainable bottle. It's used, I think, I always get the numbers mixed up. I think it's like 30% less weight and 20% more recycled glass. So it's a very premium spirits bottle, but it's very sustainable. And the future iterations will be digitally printed with a raised, you can feel the embossed label on there with organic ink. So that's the journey so far. I guess you'll have some questions in there.
I say, so the process itself, so you're actually distilling from first principles. So this is part of what we're sort of looking to explore a little bit about who's actually making rum in, and that idea of a Scottish rum versus like a Scottish rum brand, and all the things that kind of bring to it. But I mean, you're doing this from first principles in Glasgow, I guess. But so you're importing molasses, I guess.
Yes, we are, and I can't tell. The one thing I always say is I'm not the most technical. I have technical notes. I tried to get Tony on this call, but he was booked to do something else. So apologies. But yes, we start with imported molasses. I think there's multiple sources. I keep asking Tony, I was like, where do we get our molasses? But it is multiple source molasses. We start with that, ferment it in the distillery. I can't tell you the technical on the yeast, but I know that he's picked a particular yeast. It smells amazing. As I'm sure you've been in a rum distillery before. Everybody that sets foot in the distillery just immediately is wowed. It's so delicious. So we start with that, and then we move into distilling. Tell me how much you want on the technical on that, because I've got
short fermentation sherry or a longish one? I mean,
I think he said 7 to 10 days. I asked him to tell me that again.
That sounds like a long fermentation to me. So that's
cool. It is 7 to 10 days. No, it says no chemicals added, nothing. It's just the molasses and the yeast and the water.
And then you got a pot still, I guess, for distilling. Do you know the brand?
Column still,
or with a column section on it.
Yeah, big column on the top. Yeah, it's from the US. I can't actually. Mile High. There you go. Mile High. They were great. They were really great to deal with. And they made our wonderful column still, and it's got the detachable botanic basket. That we use on there. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second, because we do different things with different rums. There's a slightly different process with the 45 Charlie's Chopper, Clean Cut, and Raspberry Crannican. They've got a slightly different process to go through. All twice distilled though.
Well, that answers the other part. So you're making a rum and then you're distilling the flavors in, or you're macerating, or depends on the
combination of both. So with Clean Cut that we're talking about just now, it's entirely spice basket in the botanic basket. With the 45 and Raspberry Crannican, it's a combination of an infused into the distillate and then through the still, and a spice botanical basket on it as well.
Yeah, very cool. I have to say that I kind of like from a personal level, you as soon as you guys released the 45, I think you dropped us a line via social media. It's like, hey, we got this new product out, and I kind of feel like I followed the story quite nicely over. Yeah, I mean, lockdown has been a weird one for everyone, but but it equally gives people the time in some respects to kind of to keep an eye out what's out there. And you were playing around with like pre-batch cocktails as well, all kinds of things.
We've had so much fun, and it's great to hear that you're remembering that point. Joining us on the journey. That's what we say to everybody: join us on the journey, because that's what we are being on as friends. And then the more people that we meet, and everybody we talk about with the brand, we have people that it is completely different for me, because in my other professional life, if you like, it's service orientated. It's dealing with clients and corporate type worlds. Product for me has been totally transformative in my own experience of being in business, because people go on the journey with you and they really become like super fans, and they communicate with the brand in a completely different way to anything I've experienced in my business life, and we love it. All the Jacobite boys just absolutely love the feedback, the conversation, the responses. Obviously some people don't like it because there's a lot of stuff going on in different rums.
Yep.
We don't mind. Just join us on the journey and find your rum, because there's so much out there. I really do love drinking rum now. That is my go-to. I'll drink it straight. I've got a couple of favorites, but I'm learning all of the time.
Yeah.
And I think I think all of our rums fit on that shelf. If you want something different, and you'll be the same. Sometimes you're in the mood for like something slow and mellow and just get that relaxation going. Sometimes you just want something that's going to get going. It's a party starter. And I think we try to find that our rums fit in that experience, whatever you're looking for. And I think the three that we currently have, they have options. They definitely have options.
All of your rums. So I've been on a sort of a cruise really to kind of sort of separate rum and the unflavored stuff from spiced and flavored and like that. You sort of you're I guess you're generalizing. You say you're making your rums. You mean your flavored ones, but you are making you're making a base rum to start with. Have you got any plans for that to be released as a straight white or as an aged version even?
It's been in discussion from day one. So I call it our Jacobite base, because that's what it is. It's the Jacobite base. I think it's really drinkable. Tony he's fascinating. I'm sure when people get a chance to all meet in real life, it's great to get a conversation with Tony. Tony has had more careers than anybody I know, and honest to God, he started out as a professional footballer, a professional goalkeeper actually, and he's gone through so many different careers. But he's really meticulous about his learning, and he's really protective of the product. And I keep saying to him, let me release, because I'm the marketing guy, if you like. So I'm like, let me get this to people because people will like it. And he's like, nah, it's not ready. I want to do something different to it. So I think he wants to refine the Jacobite base, because obviously when we make it straight, it's then we always know that it's going through a secondary distillation anyway. So I think he just wants to kind of play around with it. I would like to get it to people because it's authentic. It's that stuff. We make it from scratch. It is, and I think it's a good rum. I think it comes out really well. I think, all the little nuances and tricks that distillers have that I didn't know about. I speak to people all the time. In fact, I was speaking to my brother on the weekend about going to visit some vineyards with his girlfriend Spanish, and I was like, I really want to go and do like the Rioja tour, yeah. And I wanted to stay there. And I said, now I've got a different brain on this. I have been to whiskey tours. I've been on cognac tours. I've been to vineyards. I've done it, but not since we started the rum journey. And now, I mean, yourself, the more you discover about this, the more you realize goes on in making the booze that we have loved all these years. And that's a long-winded way, as I told you I would give you, of saying, yes, we might release the base. And we experiment with finishing. We don't say aging because we're not in that term, but we know what the wood can do, and I'm desperate to do it. So because I like an aged rum, it's an investment, it's a time thing, it's also a space thing. We are already running out of space. We moved in just over a year and a half ago to our space and thought this will be great. It's out of 2 sheds, but wow, we have filled that space. So I think it's something we would love to do and watch this space. We're on the journey. It's definitely potential.
I love the enthusiasm. So we get this thing, a number of brands. There sort of seems to be 2 paths for this thing. Either when a brand launches, they've got their one product, and they're not going to divert from that until they've sold like God knows how much of it. Or it's like, no, I want to try it all. We're gonna have all the lines.
Well, Charlie's Chopper Raspberry came about because must have been during the summer. And I said to Tony, I was like, look, we're selling the 45. Lockdown was in full swing. The 45's flying out the door. I was like, give me something else, because that's my role. I'm the kind of sales and marketing, advertising. That's my day job. And I was like, give me something more to sell. And he's like, and so I literally kind of went away with our designer and came up with Charlie's Chopper before coming back and telling him what it was. But I did ask him, I said, look, try to get a Scottish summer in a bottle and make it a spiced rum. And the raspberry Crannican is quite a famous dessert up here. You've probably had one if you've ever been to a Scottish wedding or an event up here. So it's toasted oats, tends to be honey and whiskey and cream and fresh raspberries. And I said to Tony, we did some experimentation. So again, looking at the Scotch whiskey industry and whiskey in general, we discovered that Irish whiskey, as a result of actually some laws around trying to control the distilling Ireland back in the 1800s, they pivoted away from a traditional grain approach, malted barley, and they actually used oats. And that's one of the things that give Irish whiskey that creamy mouth taste. And when we researched this, we're like, of course, again, the journey of discovery that we're on. So we toasted our own oats. That's literally what goes into that. It's toasted oats made by us, and the fresh raspberries. Can I tell you an interesting fact about it? So have you got a bottle of the raspberry on your shelf? So I have a bottle here. I have a bottle behind me. Now, if you were to look on our website and look at it, so you see how clear that is. Yeah. It's gone clear, and we didn't know this was going to happen when we started making it, because first off, we were drinking it too fast. It wasn't hanging around. But if you keep that, because there's no color added to it, it's a organic color compound that will disappear over time. So we just need to make sure people know it. But we quite like that. We're like, look, you can either let it hang around, it'll go clear, it still smells and tastes fantastic, but the color will go. Or you can just get through it in some cocktails, which is my preference.
Well, you sent us a taster of it, and the taster was long since drunk. So that experiment's gone for me.
we'll get that back on the go. It's great fun, and you're right. We were open to ideas, open to fun, and the 45 is our our key brand that we started with, but we now, you know, we have learned so much, not just with our own rums, but with, you know, tasting other people's spice rums. We know that there's different things to offer, and that's where the evolution took us to Charlie's Chopper Clean Cut.
Cool. So we're going to talk about the 45, but we're going to do that in another little segment a little later. So the Charlie's Chopper.
Yeah.
The one. So this is the one we're going to have a little taste of. I've taken the option of pouring myself a wee taste.
Yeah, I'll do that now.
For those that are watching, do we let them know this is early in the morning? I don't think we need to tell them.
It highlights how dedicated we are.
A busy day of recording interviews and drinking rum.
Yeah.
Some people think I've got a rubbish life, and I go, you know what? I don't mind. I can do this all day.
Oh, I love it. I love. You know what? What a great way to start a day. I won't even tell anybody what day it's on.
Yeah. A little bit tired, but there you go. So, Charlie's Chopper, talk about the botanicals, please, in this one.
Well, I guess you've probably seen what we're saying about it. Like, it's straight away peppery, vanilla. I'm trying to think. Definitely a bit of citrus in there as well. That's what I get, you know, on my nose.
I kind of, without knowing exactly what the botanical bill is, you can always sort of kind of guess, but it feels like there's a little ginger to it, ginger note.
A little bit of ginger.
Not overpowering though.
No, it's subtle. There is a bit of ginger. There's a bit of citrus. The notes for me and the main botanicals that I think are in there is just, I think one of the things I get on that kind of, you know, when you get it around your mouth, is you get the vanilla, a little bit of that vanilla sweetness. But it's the peppery. There's a bit of black pepper and there's cardamom in there. That's the big kind of notes that you're getting on it, I think. And then the citrus is there at the front of the mouth, and I think I get that sweet vanilla, you know, that little neuroreceptor that we've got for vanilla. Just get that on the tongue. And
yes.
I you know, it's not designed to be drunk straight. One of the other things that we did with this rum is we looked at what lots of people are doing with spiced rum, and they're drinking it with mixers. And we have said from the word go, drink our spiced rum as you want to drink it. We're not going to dictate anything to anyone. We don't want to, and we want people to just do what they like. There's people drinking raspberry Crannican with cream soda, and they said it tastes like a dessert. I'm like, crack on, that sounds great fun to me. So we kind of wanted to put this into a market where people were happy to mix it. The two favored mixers are a good cola, a good craft cola, or a ginger beer, possibly a ginger ale. I'm sure you hear this, you know, most rums are saying that, but we designed it with that in mind. And when we went through, you know, we did lots of different tastings to kind of work out. It was great. Tony would drop around these little, you know, minis, just numbered, you know, or numbered minis. Try this one. You would try it with a different Coke, and, you know, I would get my wife involved, and there'd be, you know, friends. Which one do you like? And it is a process of just like letting it rise to the top. Which one is the one that has that character that works on its own, and which one works with the cola, which was our kind of signature serve for it. And this is where we landed on this. And we had other things going on in different versions of this, which we might go back to, but that's it. And it comes through the botanic basket there, and it's all right straight. I think it's, you know.
You have, I think you can tell the people that have done a lot of tastings. I think those ones always taste actually really nice and neat. Yeah, and it does. I have to say that I quite enjoy it with tonic, stretch with tonic. You know, it's kind of like I draw a lead on that kind of. To be fair, I drink a lot of rum with tonic, all sorts, you know, except for the very aged, and it works really nicely. Now I'm going to. It is an early start, and it's been a thing. But we talk about the environmental sustainability on the bottle. I think we need to mention that, because this is one of the prettiest bottles I think I've seen for a very long time. And texturally, it's very fun. That doesn't come over on the camera, but texturally, it feels great.
Yeah, we wanted it. So this comes back to we want people to get a reaction to our products, and that's from the first thing. So your eyes, when you see it, you're going to get a reaction from that bottle. And then the second thing is tactile. So for me, it looks good against white in the background.
Yeah,
pink, but for me, I like the idea of something when you have it in your hand. giving you a sensory experience. I know it sounds a little bit, marketing bullshit, but it's what we were going for. We wanted people to grab it, and it's got that different shapes, completely different to our other bottle shapes. It's got a real ease in the hand. Get that poured, stick a spout on the top of that, and get it free poured. The bottle, the way the bottle came about is our manufacturer of our bottle, which was important from the word go with the 45. It's manufactured in Alloa, which is about 28 to 30 miles from the distillery. It's the closest stock that we could find that is made in Alloa. We tried really hard with our corks to get them as close as we could possibly get to Scotland. And we asked our supplier about that as well. We wanted that, the real cork, and we wanted that from Portugal, apparently. And so when it came to the second bottle, OI, who are the glass packaging manufacturer that make, a lot of glass, as I'm sure they make a lot of the world's bottles. They make the iconic Iron Brew bottle, and they have done since day one in that factory in Alloa. They invented the Coca-Cola bottle, which was 100 years old a couple of years ago. So these guys are, serious about glass, and they approached us and they said, this is like in February time this year. So we already had a plan for Clean Cut, but they didn't know that. And they said, we're thinking of trying to launch a new, really sustainable bottle that has, digital print capability, blah, blah. They told us this pitch. I'm like wide-eyed on the phone going, this sounds good. Yes. So I get off, it's like they're saying everything I wanted to hear. So I get on the phone to Tony. I was like, Tony, I want to do this, partnership bottle development with us. And I said, we've got Clean Cut in the planning. This is perfect. This gives us this chance to go, and do it. And then it was a roller coaster. We are, as you know, a small craft spice rum distillery in Glasgow, with almost everybody having another job. And then we dealt with the world's largest glass packaging manufacturer to go through the process of developing a new bottle, clinging on for dear life is the way I would describe it. I don't know how we keep up with this pace. They're so good at this. I think within 2 weeks. So we went through. Do you want me to tell you about the design of the bottle a little bit? Because I don't know how much people look at the design that goes in the bottles. I never. Obviously I knew nice bottles and I like this, and I knew the shape of certain bottles, Coca-Cola, Iron Brew, whatever, lots of brands. But my word, the work that all of the brands in the Scottish Rum Festival and beyond put in to getting their brand out there is phenomenal. It's hard work. You're looking at sustainability all of the time. So you're trying to get that, the labeling or your packaging and everything kind of fitting right, from the boxes to the labels to the tape. We're getting paper tape made now. So we do a lot of work on it, and it is quite nice to talk about now and again. So this bottle is the pinnacle so far of our packaging journey. And if you have a look at the detail on it, I don't know if you've noticed the little pattern on there, Peter.
Yeah.
There is. If you look really carefully, I'll see if I can hold this up to the camera. You see the little Jacobite rose?
Right. Yeah.
With the Jacobite diamond in the middle?
Yeah.
Well, around the outside of that are 4 C's. Right. Charlie's Chopper Clean Cut.
Okay, that's a subtle detail.
It is a subtle detail. Now everybody knows, thank goodness, because nobody would ever get that detail. So it's the Jacobite rose is part of that, the Jacobite story. We've tried to keep a little bit of the Jacobite history kind of going on, although it's not a massive part of our brand. We just, we kind of say it's about rallying behind the cause, even if it's the lost cause. Doing it because you want to do something. So the pattern on there is reference to Charlie's Chopper. Charlie's Chopper is Bonnie Prince Charlie's sword, and that's why Charlie's Chopper is called so. So it's the Clean Cut because it is completely clear, and it's cut from the still in a particular way, Tony tells me, and the pattern on that bottle is a reference to his sword, or one of his swords. There's about 5 or maybe even more. So everybody claims to have Bonnie Prince Charlie's sword. I think there's quite a few. So we quite like that. So So that's what's going on in the bottle, yeah, and it is sustainable, as we talked about earlier. There's a packaging solution there, comes from a factory as close as we can get it. It's using less energy to transport. It's using less energy in its manufacturing. We're trying, and ultimately, what we want, what I would love is people to keep bottles. You know how you sometimes see bottles, with the little lights in it and stuff. Yeah. This is a great bottle for that. So.
We're really going to be getting rid of this one. I'm glad you explained the Charlie's Chop a bit. I guess as an Englishman, I don't necessarily. Yeah, I didn't get that bit, and I didn't kind of go reach it. And I just assumed it was a rude joke behind there. If I'm completely honest,
a lot of people think that, but don't worry, it's not just being English, being Scottish. Like very few people know much or think much about the history. We don't need people to. It's a bit of fun, and yeah, we did have a bit of fun with Charlie's Chopper when we came up with it as a brand. But we want that's what we're about. We're like. Again, memorable, fun, get a reaction, and it definitely gets that. And I hope that the flavor profile also does that. It does, it stands out. You're drinking. You can pick it out in a bunch of.
A little, it's been a little while since I've had the 45 in my glass. I recall it being a little bit more robust flavor-wise than this one. It's a little toned down. Is not quite the right word. Muted is not the right word. It's just a little more delicate, I think, just in the way.
Absolutely. Do you know, I spoke to a friend at the weekend who's been a committed gin drinker for a number of years. And I was saying, what do you like about gin? What is it? And what she was saying is, it's, the botanicals, the different flavors, the stuff that you can go on. And I'm like, do you know that rum and spiced rum has that as well going on? Have you tried it? No. Try this, right? So tried this, I think with tonic, with a slice of lime, so it looks like a gin and tonic, right?
Absolutely.
It's just got a whole new direction. And that's what I said. I was like, once you're on this journey, imagine when you were, starting out drinking at 18, obviously, you just said, well, I'm only drinking hooch. That's what I drink, or whatever people would start out drinking, cider at 18. How would you have ever discovered all of these different things? So, we love that idea of just going out there and trying something different and getting a reaction. But you're right, it's more subtle. I think it does have that botanical character that will work really well with the tonic. I'm going to try it with the tonic, actually.
That's I think it's great. We have rum as a category, I think, is the best category because it's got something for everyone. And brands and expressions like this, I think, will help bring people, like from gin. I think aged rums and rums will bring people in from whiskey without any trouble at all. But this will, and especially the way it looks. I mean, it looks great. I just want to touch back on you about the sustainability. Is there a burden, do you think, with new brands starting up that you have to have that sustainability in mind? And is this something that you're going to then sort of retrospectively take back to the other releases that you've got out there?
What the sustainability stuff? Well, the sustainability is built in as much as we can to the other spiced rums anyway. We get the bottles from now.
You're going to reuse the bottle, is what I'm saying, for the rest of
the weight. So yeah, the other two have got less reused glass in them than this new one, and absolutely, we're looking at trying to bring some of that into. In fact, OI told us that they're launching additional shapes of that bottle, so the chances are we'll be able to transition to it fairly seamlessly. I think one of the things I always say to people about the sustainability message, and particularly referencing the Jacobite teams, we're all about the same age, all in our early mid-40s. I think my generation, or our generation, are possibly the most educated on sustainability and the environmental impact, but the least informed. I think what we do is we go, we know about the environment. We remember CFCs and we remember the hole in the ozone layer. And then there's a kind of wee gap where we don't translate that to behavioral changes. And so we do have to work at that. And we have to tell people that we're working at it. And we have to say, it's not always going to be easy. It's not just the straight away, well, that's us sustainable. So we will do what we can in our journey from making it for our consumers. We will do what we can, but we need you to be part of it, to feed back to us, to help us, to make sure that you put that in the right place when you recycle it, or you use it, you upcycle it, you do something in the house with a candle or lights or whatever. But it is definitely it's not lip service, and I don't think any brands out there are doing that. From the largest to the smallest, we know it's important. for our own future and sustainability. We know it's commercially important. Yes, it's undeniable. Of course, it's commercially important. But like, why wouldn't we do it? It's you've got to take responsibility, even if it's hard work sometimes. And luckily, we were helped on the hard work because our suppliers, if we all in turn lean on our suppliers and say, I don't want cork from an unsustainable source, I don't want this from an unsustainable source, whatever. We're doing that in the other direction, which makes everybody kind of come on that journey. So that's what we've been doing, and Charlie's Chopper really is the pinnacle of it for us. We've done everything we can with that. We're not quite plastic free. That was why I was saying earlier about the tape. We were using tape in our boxes, and I said, Tony, there's more plastic, so let's get rid of that. So the tape's ordered. We get these, the stuff that you see from boxes now, nice paper tape, and then the other stuff. I think the thing that goes over the top. Can't remember the sleep thing. I think that's some sort of biodegradable something or other, some word that I don't know, but yeah. So we've got there. Our boxes, our new boxes. When you see them, when we get stuff out to you, Peter, you'll see is entirely cardboard. The cardboard wrap, got the nice organic ink print, and it's as much as we can do, and it still looks good. That's the key as well.
I think we we talked about all kinds of stuff there, but what do you hope for in the next sort of 6 to 12 months, year, and so forth?
We're just, we want more people to try our spiced rums. We want people to join us on the journey, because when people join us on the journey, they're on it, and we're all enjoying that process, and it is a great journey to be on. We want more people in England to find out about our Scottish spiced rum, and we also want to get beyond the shores when we can. I think that's been a bit of a challenge for a lot of brands over the last couple of years. So that's really all we're looking to do. And we'll keep experimenting. We'll keep innovating, seeing what we can come up with. We've got a few things planned for the next couple of months that people, I'm sure, will be interested to find out about. I'm not going to quite give away right now, but we've got some fun planned for the remainder of the Scottish summer, which I think finishes just before the Scottish Rum Festival. But good summer, and hopefully, seeing people enjoy all of our spiced rums in every different way possible. So I'm really pleased that you said you like it with tonic, because I've always been a fan of a tonic. So I'll give the 4 C's a go with tonic.
Right, cool. So we're picking back up again. For all those who are watching this going like, hang on a minute, I'm sure they were wearing different clothes, or something's different about it. Yeah, we're recording a little extra bit so we can talk about the original, the 45. What's the story, Matt? While I prise this bottle open, tell us.
Well, I've got one too. I haven't opened mine either, and as you can see, I've changed brand color to brighten up the conversation about the 45. Okay, so the 45. You want to talk flavor profile or a little bit background first?
Let's have a little bit of background, I think, and then I'm going to pour myself a measure.
Yeah, I'm going to pour myself a tiny sniff, because I've got to drive in a little while. So the 45 was our first spiced rum. It wasn't our first attempt at spiced rum. It was our first commercialization of spiced rum. We spent a long time researching, shall we say, in inverted commas, and then we spent a long time prototyping, coming up with flavor profiles, playing with spices, learning what we were doing. I mean, I've said this before, and if folks have watched the longer conversation we've had, we have learned this from scratch as enthusiasts for rum and the rum making process. The learning that we have undertaken over the last few years has been massively helped and influenced by the Scotch whisky industry. So it's no surprise when you get the nose on there. It shouldn't be a surprise, hopefully, that you get a little bit of that Scotch whisky background. There should be an influence there. So when we designed the spice profile for the 45, we wanted it to be something we would drink. We're a bunch of guys. There's 8 of us in Jacobite Spirits. We're all really great mates. We love traveling. We love food. We love eating. We know what we like. And we basically created a rum for ourselves, a spiced rum for ourselves. So the 45 started out life in late 2019 and made it into this wonderful bottle. And it is it's our flagship brand, if you like, part of the Jacobite Spirits story. So you've had a taste there. Do you want to?
I had a taste. I have to say that I had a taste, obviously, previously, because when you first launched, I was lucky enough to get a tot then. This is a far more robust affair in comparison to the Charlie's Chopper. This is much more in your face, citrusy, and it feels like fresh ginger. Are we in there? I might be saying that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But it's still there is. Whilst the botanicals are big and there's lots of them, there's still, as you say, there's a rum flavour underneath that that pot still rum flavour that I can pick out.
Yeah, this is twice distilled as well. We start with the Jacobite base that we talked about, and the other one, which is straight fermentation from our molasses, and then all the way into the column still, up and through to get us to the base about 95, 96. And then it goes back through with an infusion and a spice botanical basket on the still. So there's fresh ginger there, there's orange peel, there's vanilla, there's a little bit of star anise, and there's a couple of little things going on in the background, which I think is quite subtle, and I always like to mention it because I honestly think it's a bit Marmitey, because some people like a bit of that aniseed licorice taste. We have smoked seaweed in there. We wanted to put something that gave it a little bit of salinity, a little bit of background smokiness, and then we finish it in a whiskey bourbon cask. So this spends 4 to 5 weeks in cask. So it's not a long time, but to be honest, it changes when we do it. So we know it's giving it something. So
yeah. So there's no added sugar to this, or is there a little bit of honey?
Tiny bit. It's 5 per
5 grams per litre.
Yeah, I think that's it. Tony sent me those details. Again, he's a technical guy, but yeah, there's a little bit added at the end. But again, I think that was when we were experimenting. We didn't want to be heavily sugaring it, but as you taste that, it's just a little sweetness, but it's balanced out by big flavors, big punchy spice. And what I love about it is that background that just lasts on your palate. It's got a real, you're right, robust is a fair way of describing it. It stands up to anything. I absolutely see in a little while, when the day gets a little bit longer, I am smashing this in a old-fashioned. We call it the good old-fashioned rebellion, and it is just my go-to drink. It's instant, it's like, and unwind. It's a bit grown up. It's got big flavors. It stands up to the Angostura. It stands up to the sugar, stands up to the cherry. You still taste the rum, and it's like a proper grown up cocktail. Get one of those big ice cubes in there, really nice glass. Yeah, that's my go-to.
It's nice that it's an interesting counterpoint. It really is, because I say the way it presents, it is kind of unashamedly right there in your face and there. And I can imagine there's lots of folks that's their idea of and you say you mentioned Marmite, but that's the idea. Some people want massive. Yeah. I want big spicy rum in my face, and this is everything you need.
Yeah,
there is more to it. Like I said, there's citrus, there's a freshness. It's like there is a complexity there.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of hidden ingredients in there that we don't actually reveal. But one of the interesting parts of the journey for us, can I tell you? So we like I say, we're foodies. I'm a foodie myself. I love looking at flavors, experimenting, reading history. Like Tony is massively into all that. This morning I was talking to him a little bit about the research that he's done into some of our other plans. And one of the things that was great for us is we started this journey ourselves. We had a bit of help from Scotch whiskey. We spoke to some of the other rum guys in Scotland, and we kind of accidented upon the Scottish Botanical Library through at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh. And they were really brilliant, and we went through and we spent some time there in that botanical library. And what was amazing, and this was honest to God one of the best moments for me, is we're with the lovely professor there, and we're looking around, and I kind of whispered to him, I was like, they've got it here. It was like validation of some of our secret ingredients. I was like, it's here. So I spoke to her about this, the couple of things that we put in there, which are inherently Scottish. They're Scottish botanicals. And I just had that kind of, she was like, oh, you're using that, are you? And we were like, yes. So we have got some stuff that gives it a little bit more of that licoricey aniseed flavor, and it actually enhances a little bit of those other spices, the ginger and the orange. So it helps us. It kind of, elevates that taste profile. So we love it. Great fun.
So you're telling me, so you've got it. I mean, it's an unashamedly Scottish rum. It's made in Scotland, but the 2 Scottish botanicals that you put in it, you can't tell us.
Well, we've got one that we can tell you, which is the smoked seaweed. Smoked seaweed. Yeah, that's the ones. Well, the other 2, we obviously we'll probably get to the point where we want to talk about it, but we were so chuffed that we thought to put it in there, and it was like, well, we'll hold this one back and we'll not let it on yet. But it's been so, like, I mentioned our consumer experience and us dealing with our consumers, the guys that are buying this stuff. They get really into it. I mean, you'll know this yourself. You get really passionate about a brand that you like or a flavor profile you like. And we've got people chatting to us from all over. We can't reach other parts of the world yet because of lots of different reasons. But just the conversations that we have about it and the passion that people have for something that we make, we're really excited about that. And we love that folk join us on the journey. And definitely the Marmite part. We like it. If someone says, oh, it's maybe not for me, one thing we say is, if you try it and you think it's not for you, give it a while and go back. Because I found that myself. We've all found this. We do rum tastings every month or so as a group, and we try everything and anything out there. And there was one rum in particular that happens to be part of the Scottish Rum Festival. I'm not going to name the brand. And at first, when I tried it, I was like, nah, don't like it. And then it was part of one of our tastings. We do like blind tastings and nobody knows what's in the bottle. I was like, I really like that. And that for me changed, my approach going forward. It sometimes depends on the day that you hit something. So, give it a go.
No, I think it's also better that someone provokes a reaction, even if it's one way or the other, rather than like, yeah. Because that really doesn't tick any boxes then, does it?
Absolutely. I was speaking to a guy yesterday through my day job, and he was talking about, I'm not really a fan of spiced rum, but my wife bought me, and he mentioned a mainstream brand, which we know is not allowed to be called a rum. It has to be called a rum drink. So I think the direction we're going in. I was like, really, just have a look. There's so much out there. I was like, you don't need, I'm not going to say buy our rum, but I was like, honestly, open your eyes. There is a world of amazing discovery in Scotland and beyond. And it's almost never ending. I mean, you must realize this. There are so many new brands or new iterations, and, guys like us and everybody in the Scottish Rum Festival, we're loving this. We're trying to come up with good things that we enjoy. We're not pumping out stuff that is effectively flavored alcohol. We're trying to make an authentic product, and it's great fun doing it. And it's great when people enjoy it.
I completely agree. I think the last year's proved that actually exploring the world of botanical rums, flavored rums, spice rums, however you want to whatever the process is to create them is really interesting. There are some really, really cool combinations out there. People are doing some great stuff. All these recordings I've done for the Scottish Rum Festival have proven one thing, that there is a really vibrant scene going on. I've really enjoyed every single one of them. Enjoyed having every one of them in the glass. It's been very, very cool. I'm not being paid to say that. That's the honest truth.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. And what I think, we say, and I guess a lot of the Scottish rum community are saying, is that we're not stuffy about this. We want people to enjoy it as they want to enjoy it. I've got no worries if you want to mix that with Iron Brew, if you want to mix that with lemonade, if you want to mix that with fruit juice, you want to mix it with ginger beer, you want to put cola in it. I don't care, as long as my consumers love it and they want to be part of it and they want to try out new stuff. And I think the 45 in particular can stand up to pretty much anything you want to throw at it there. We've even cooked with it. I did short ribs with it. I did a rum glaze with a rum barbecue glaze like last summer with this. Unbelievable. A guy we know did like a rum syrup for a dessert. Honestly, it was incredible. It just, this thing works. And I think there's lots of rums out there, and people forget that you can cook with this. You can add this to cream. You can add this to, anything that you're doing can be enhanced by some good rum.
I completely agree. Fantastic. That was a worthy addition. I realised that I've recorded this in we're above each other instead of side by side, so that everyone's very confused when they get to this. They're going to go, what on earth was happening there? I don't care about that.
They'll be fine. They'll hopefully have some rum in their glass, be enjoying the journey. Do you want me to talk anything about the bottle, or is that not relevant to this story?
I think, well, I mean, by all means, I mean, at this point.
It's not the sustainable story that we've got with Charlie's Chopper Clean Cut on this one, although it is from the same, factory in Alloa that's, close distance to us. So this bottle, the labeling on this is a reference to the Battle of Culloden. I'm sure everybody gets that. If you're not a historical buff, the 45 was the last rebellion. And the little part of the bottom here, the little cutout, lots of people ask us, they think it's maybe an island, they think it's maybe a reference to the Caribbean rum islands, but it's actually an outline of the Culloden battlefield. There we go. And there's a few little hidden parts to this that reference the Jacobite journey. And you can see that if you turn onto the back, there's a couple of little hidden bits and pieces on here. The Jacobite rose at 45. I suppose we should really talk, it's 45%. I don't know how that is to you guys, but it is 45%. It's got a bit of punch. I quite like.
Yeah, but then also that the flavor profile is full enough that it kind of that easily carries through. Yeah, that's very nice. You say there's a rose on rose on the front, of course, around the ABV.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think we got it all. I know we did it 2 hits, but and of course, if they have got questions, they can reach out to you via social media and ask all the questions they like. So, yeah. And
I think we're obviously about on the festival, and we're going to be involved in some of the discussions. Everybody's really excited. I think the challenge we've got, because there's 8 of us, right? The challenge is keeping us back. There'll be guys appearing everywhere. Because we're really into this and we like tasting the other rums. So it's going to be an exciting weekend.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Thank you very much for your time. We'll see you on, and for those that dial in, make sure you keep an eye out for the Ask the Producer sessions at the Scottish Rum Festival. Ciao, TCFN.